Smith-Levitt. I'm the founder and executive director of Central Florida Vocal Arts, and I'm so excited to spend this evening with you. We're going to be learning a little bit about singing and a little bit about some exciting Christmas music, a tune that you might know with some new additions that we have added to it. But it's going to be a fun evening, and I hope you really enjoy yourselves. If you're not familiar with Central Florida Vocal Arts, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to using our platform in performing arts to build better community. And so I'm excited to share that spirit here with you this evening as we get ready for the Christmas season. So before we start learning our music, of course we need to warm up. And my feeling on singing is all good singing comes into two different categories. It either has to do with space or it has to do with breath. Breath is the gasoline in the car of our singing. So let's start with some posture and some breath work. So sit up nice and tall, ensemble. I want you to take a moment, close your eyes, and sort of align your body. What that means is you want to be sort of free of any tension. You are the instrument. Cello players are really lucky because they play their cello and then they put it away in a case and they take it out and it's exactly the same. We as human beings go through our day with our instruments. We have to take the time to relax and set ourselves up for good music making. So let's just take a second, roll our shoulders back. 1, 2, 3. Very, very nice. Go ahead and scrunch up your shoulders really, really hard. Ball up your fist. Feel everything really tight. Curl your toes. Oh, let it go. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in. Super tight, super tight, super tight. And let it go. Good. Go ahead and lift your eyebrows really high. Scrunch your face together hard like this. Good. Find a nice neutral position. I want you to scrunch your eyebrows together. This is something you'll see a lot of singers do when they're performing. It's a tension thing. And for some reason, if we have tension in our eyebrows, we also have tension at the top of our throat. Something to be aware of as you're reaching towards the top of your range. There's no tension on your face. It actually makes phonation much more difficult. We want to keep a really free vocal apparatus. Now, back to breath. We all talk about this idea of singing from the diaphragm, but what does that mean? Who can raise their hand and tell me, what does it mean to sing from the diaphragm? What does that mean? Who wants to take a guess? Braxton.
You're kind of singing towards in your stomach area, but it's like, it has its own little space in there.
Absolutely. So the diaphragm does have space. So here's a really fun question. When we think about breathing, we think about our lungs, right? Do you have any control over your lungs? Any whatsoever? Literally zero. You have no control over your lungs. Think about your left kidney. I want you to turn your left kidney 45 degrees. You can't do that, right? Because it's an organ and you have zero control over it, and your lungs are also organs and you have zero control over them. But what you do have a little bit of control over is your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is what we call a muscled organ. So when you fill up your lungs with air, your diaphragm moves down and out, and then it pushes back up. It does that all day long, which is why you don't have to think about breathing while you're sleeping. You're able to stay alive because your diaphragm is doing this lovely thing. The thing is, when we go to sing, we want to slightly disrupt that natural pattern by asking the diaphragm to stay down and out and expanded to allow us to extend and support our phrases with breath. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So let's go ahead and find our diaphragm. So feel where your rib cage comes apart slightly. You should feel sort of a squishy kind of muscle. When you push on it, it shouldn't feel particularly pleasant. Okay? So once you find that, I want you to just take a couple breaths with an open throat. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in again. And out. That second one was better. One of the things I noticed on that first inhalation, I saw some people go, we don't want to have any sort of tension in our chest and shoulders when we breathe. We want the lungs to expand down and out. So let that old air go. Breathe in again. And exhale. Yeah, you should feel really nice and relaxed here as well. I want to do something I call triangle breathing. This is a great method before you walk into an audition. You are feeling nervous to A, calm your nerves, but B, remind your body what you want it to do when you go to sing. So what you're going to do is inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds with your mouth open, exhale for 3 seconds. That's a full triangle. We're going to make 3 of them. So it looks something like this. And then we do it again. It's actually great for anxiety management, and I, in my 12 years of teaching, have never met a performer who didn't have some level of anxiety. So this is a great technique just for real life, okay? So we're gonna drop the jaw, open the throat, and if you heard it's a little noisy when I do it, that's okay, all right? This isn't what we're gonna do when we sing, it's just to practice our breath work. So drop the jaw, breathe in for 3. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1. Hard. 2, 3. Breathe it again. Noisy. 2, 3. Hold that. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2. Get it out. 2 and 3. Breathe it again. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold there. Take an internal assessment. Do I feel calmer and more focused? I'm going to say most of you do, okay? Let's go ahead and think about our posture. So if you have your legs crossed, go ahead and let your legs hang from your chair. Yep. Nice and tall. A great sort of mental image is to think about a marionette. So if you were a puppet being suspended by a string, you're just weightless and free, even when you're sitting, okay? Sitting up nice and tall. And I want to go ahead and get phonating. And that leads us to a very important introduction. Our collaborative pianist this evening is Mr. Charlie Stevens. Let's give him a big round of applause and welcome him. So excited to have you with us today.
Glad to be here.
Let's go ahead and do some warm-ups. Maybe starting at middle C, just in ascending ya. Think about how you were breathing when you were doing that triangle breathing, even when you go to sing. Deep breath in. Another thing we can talk about is space. I said everything is either breath or it's space. Vowel formation has to do with space. I like to think about a balance between depth and width. This comes with the idea of chiaro oscuro. Everybody say chiaro oscuro. Chiaro oscuro. And if you want to say it really good, you have to take your fingers and go chiaro oscuro. Chiaro oscuro. Anybody know what chiaro oscuro means?
Bright and dark.
Yep, light and dark. So I'm a child of the 90s, which means I used to draw yin-yang signs all the time in my notebooks during school. So this is the best mental image for this. It's that you want to have a balance between the dark and light, and even in the dark, you have light, and even in the light, you have dark. It's balanced tone, okay? So how do we find that? I like to think about biting an apple. So pretend that you have a beautiful, juicy apple. Take a big bite. Good. Now, your tongue is probably pretty high when you're thinking about doing that, so keep that width, and now just relax. All like a square shape on the inside, okay? This is a really good way to find your individual sound. In a choral setting, sometimes we're going to go with a more hooty sort of covered tone that adds to blendability. But right now we're a small ensemble, and I'm sort of teaching you as individual soloists how to find your fingerprint of tone, if that makes sense, okay? So find that wideness, and I want us to start where we left off, Charlie. What's that, about a G?
An E.
An E. We didn't get very far at all. All right, so we got a long way to go. Here we go. Ya, breathe. Ya. Exhale, inhale. Sing out, be brave. Yeah, I like that much better. And breathe. Yes. And breathe. Happy foreheads. Open. A few more. Two more. Yes, you can. Very nice, and nice cutoff. Thank you. We're going to use that today. Very, very nice. Charlie, any warm-ups that you'd like to share with our ensemble?
Yes. Everything is sounding so very wonderful, and I like that we're still going to be finding our individual fingerprint. But what I would like us to do is to start finding each other. Find where each other is in the room, and that requires listening. So this warm-up that we're going to do, we're going to go ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. So you have a little bit of a ha before it, but you'll have a glottal stop. So that means a type thing to stop the sound. And with each one of those being staccato, I want you to listen to all of those around us, so we're coming in nice and clean together as an ensemble.
Great place to check in with that diaphragm work we were talking about too.
Yes.
Nice little pulsation there.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ha, 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 ha. To stop us real quick, because even though we have masks on, I can still tell when we're smiling. The eyes really tell a story. One of the things I like to do with this, I like to smile while we're doing this. It keeps the sound nice and bright, keeps it very forward, and it allows us to create the sound easier and with more ease to work together. So let's smile. Aha! Even the camera can tell that we're smiling behind those masks. Here we go again.
Posture. Make sure we still have lots of energy. Remember, singing is physical work. We are the instrument, so we have to energize to keep ourselves going. I want to do one more vocal warm-up with you. So who can tell me what the word legato means? I know we're using a lot of Italian today, but legato. Ethan, what does legato mean?
It means like smooth and connected.
Smooth and connected. So in my opinion, development of the legato and the vocal tone is probably one of the most important facets of singing. We have to create line. The magic of singing isn't the note, it's what happens in between the notes, how they are connected to one another. So I want us to really focus on that. We're going to do that by doing some slides. I'm going to take you probably out of your vocal range comfort level, okay? You're going to feel like this is too high, I can't get there. But that's what we're doing. We're expanding our range, we're challenging ourselves. Let me give you a few pro tips that are going to help you with that. Keeping the forehead relaxed. As we go up higher, we start to get into and we close that down. Feel that? Everything opens. Everything is free. It just comes out of you when we tense anything up. It's like a fire hose that we've pinched in the middle, and then the fire, all of the water to put out the fire, it can't come out. We don't want that. So we have to make sure that we are nice and open, okay? Let's start, Charlie, if we could. We'll just do slides of a fifth, please. And let's start at a G to a D. So on the treble, please. Right there, ladies. Okay, and gentlemen, down in your octave, obviously. The magic is how we get from the G to the D. It needs to be messy. It needs to be like impressionistic painting. It needs to be like romantic Monet style painting. Let's try it. Inhale. Oh, something else I should have told you too. As we go down in pitch, as we have descending lines, we tend to go out of tune. And that's just what happened. That's a thing that's really normal. So I want you to lie yourself. Half of good singing is just mind games with yourself. So instead of thinking that you go down in pitch, I want you to think that you are continuing to go up. So you're going to tell yourself you're going up instead of down. Let's try it. Inhale. I think this is an interesting moment. So remember how Charlie said, I need you to feel across the ensemble? That's what we're not doing. We're holding because we're like, are you moving? I don't know. Are you moving? Okay, well, I'll just stay here. No, I want you to move together as a group. So we're going to try something different. Close your eyes. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to try and listen and feel around you when you're coming down. So I want you to keep the tempo. I don't want you to get stuck up there. So it's going to go about this speed. You could do... You're still going to think that you're going up, but you're going to keep the tempo. Does that make sense? You don't need to slow down to do that. Okay, let's try it, Charlie, about where we left off. Right there. 1, 2, eyes closed. Here we go. Very good. A couple more. You're doing awesome. It's better. Last 2, I promise. Inhale. Hold it. Good, very, very good. Guys, that was lovely. Open your eyes. Together, when you are listening more, because we've lost our vision, it was much more in tune. It was much more cohesive as a group. So I'm not going to make you keep your eyes closed the whole time that we're recording today, but if you can hold on to that sensation, hold on to that awareness of one another, that will be really, really helpful. Okay? So one other thing I want to point out, we're going to apply it as we use the music today. Rest is equally important to work. What do I mean when I say that? One of the things that I have learned with teaching young singers is a lot of times we don't relax in between the phrases. You have to exhale, you have to let there be a decompression of the body before you re-expand with the inhale. Does that make sense? Without that, what happens is your muscles, your air becomes stagnant, and then you end up sort of pushing and having a muscling out tone. So every time in between your warm-ups, where you release before you inhale is equally important. Does that make sense? Okay, so when I point that out when we're singing today, that's what I mean, is allow yourself the opportunity to rest so then you can be artistic again. I think that's a great lesson for life. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our music today. So in case you're new to the room, we're going to be learning 12 Days of Christmas today. And I'm going to just, for the sake of time, go ahead and hand out solos first so that we have that in mind. But I want us all to just kind of sing through the beginning together in unison so that we know what's going on. So before we add any harmonies or do anything crazy, we're just going to sing through the beginning part, okay? But solo 1 is going to ultimately be Gabrielle. Solo 2 is going to be Braxton. Solo 3, I would like Sienna and Colette to do it together. Solo 4, I would like Chris and Bert to do together, if you're comfortable. And then solo 5, I would like Ethan and Judah to do. Okay? Got it? Judah, you'll do up the octave. Ethan, you'll do it your comfort octave, okay? Very, very good. All right, but before we do that, we're going to just sing through the beginning, okay? On the first. 1, 2, breathe, let's sing. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. Then moving. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. Let's breathe. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. Breathe and inhale. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 hummingbirds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. Breathe and breathe. On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden rings, 4 hummingbirds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Let's stop there. Good, because it just goes on from there. Everybody kind of knows this, right? We're familiar with this idea. Very, very good. One of the things to be careful of, whenever we sing in a group and whenever it's something that we all kind of know, carols or otherwise, we have a tendency to drag. That's really, really normal. You are also going to drag more if you are holding your music like this. So I want everybody to hold your music up nice and high. It's going to help you to stay more connected to both Charlie and I and keep that tempo, okay? What we don't want is anything on the first day, because then we'll die before the 12th. We don't want that. So I want us to all stay alive and make it to the finish line, so we're going to keep it moving along, okay? Something that I noticed, I don't know if anybody else did, where was it? So the second system of, the last measure of the second system, on the second day of, goes right up to the F. Okay, I didn't want to sing it like that. I wanted to do something different. So if I wanted to, you might have too. So I wanted to do on the second day of Christmas. I think I stayed on the C, but it goes right up to the F. Okay, so if you didn't do that, if you're like me, go ahead and just make a mental mark or a physical mark. Big fan of marking your music so that you know that that's going to happen. My second soloist is Braxton, so that mostly affects you, okay? But anybody who's singing this at home, you might want to mark that as well. Good, good, good. Excellent. Before we add any harmonies, let's just go ahead and try what our markings are with our soloist, okay? So Gabrielle, I know that you lead us off, so we're not gonna add the group yet. We're only gonna do soloist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Let's start with that. So Gabrielle, you set us off. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. Solo 2. That's wicked, Gabrielle, right there. That's it, solo 3. Add 2. Add 1. Good, hold right there. So does that make sense? We're basically layering each time. So introduction of solo, add 2, add 1, and we're going to keep that theme going each time, okay? So let's pick up from solo 4. Who is solo 4 again? Chris and Bert. Perfect. 1, 2, right there. Good, hold there. So when you come in and you add to it, make a big deal out of it, okay? So when Chris and Bert go, on the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling birds. Sienna and Colette, let me hear you. You come in, 3 French hens, add Braxton, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge, and make a big deal of your entrance. Like, hey, look at me, y'all, okay? We want to be strong and bold and make choices. Excellent. And then solo 5, Ethan and Judah. 1, 2, 3.
Day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden rings.
Exactly, and that will be the full group. We'll go over those harmonies momentarily, but do we understand sort of the structure of how we're going to do this? Fabulous, very, very good. If you have any questions, do not be afraid to raise your hand and ask, because if you have a question, probably someone else has that same question, and definitely somebody watching at home has that question. So you're not gonna hurt my feelings. Be bold and ask away, okay? Are we good? Fabulous! All right, let's go back to the beginning and we're gonna teach some harmonies. So these are some harmonies that we have created based on the chords that you see on the page. We're gonna take a brief detour into music theory land. So, looking at a chord, who can define what chord means? What is a chord? Lorianne.
A chord is a combination of 3 notes put together.
3 or more notes, very, very good. And so the first chord that we see here is an F chord, which makes perfect sense because we are in the key of F. So we would say that is a 1 chord, that's our tonic, okay? So we look at this and we have on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. Basically we have F, D minor 7 chord, that's an interesting thing we'll talk about in a second, to G, C7, and then F. Okay, so a 7 chord is where we add a 4th note to the normal 3 notes of the chord. So that's only important because the C that we're going to sing in our harmony functions as the 7th of that 7th chord. So when you're looking at the spelling of these notes, all we're really doing is looking at the chord and think of it like a word search, okay? You go, okay, so I've got an F chord. F is made with F, A, C. I'm going to pick one of those 3 that are available to me to make harmony. So in this case, we choose the C. Super easy. Our harmony's gonna go Gabrielle starting on the, and when she says first, which is the downbeat, that's the 1 beat of the measure, we're gonna come in on a C and sing ooh. So she goes on the ooh, then we're gonna go up to the tonic, which is the F, ooh. For those of you who like solfege like me, that's so, do, ti, do. Okay? Makes that really, really easy. Let's try that as a group. Ready? And. Remember when we were talking about thinking really high? At no time do you have to think higher than when you're on the 7th of it, so the T. So that E needs to be super high. So you're going to think, ooh, really, really, really high, okay?
And can I make one distinction
Yes.
about the ooh sound? We want to avoid making it an ew. We want it to be an, and it's also really hard to blend.
Yeah, it is.
Ew. It's a very spread and back of the throat sound. But if we can really round that out and make it a nice ooh, ooh, first part of that diphthong, ooh, 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 nice and round, it'll just blend and we'll hear all the beautiful overtones from you guys and it's gonna be so nice.
And one of the things that I want to point out when Charlie just demonstrated that for you is, did you see how much lift he had? So it wasn't ooh, which yes is forward and yes is blendable-ish, but it doesn't have height to it. So ooh, there's a lot of height to that as well. So just think that your eyebrows are just gonna like come off the top of your forehead and like float away. That's a great sort of place to be. Let's try it together. And very good. That's our first harmony. Super easy, right? So let's just do that first phrase. Bring us in, Gabrielle. So she does the pickup and we come in on the downbeat. And
On the first day of Christmas, my true love
good. Not bad. I could take definitely a little bit more from my ladies, okay? I actually heard my guys really clearly. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's get some more ladies on the treble right there. Breathe in.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love
Good. Very good. That's it. Easy enough, right? She finishes out the phrase, partridge in a pear tree. Then we add a second harmony. So this is going to be A, B flat, C, F. And if you're reading your music, you're looking at your music, look at the bass clef. It's basically the top line of the bass clef. So you see two A's right there, moves to a B flat, C, F. Again, for my friends who like solfege, that's just gonna be me. Can I get the A? Mi, mi, fa, sol, do. I made an attempt at it though. But down to that low so, then back up to the do, okay? So let's try that. And then altos, if some of you are comfortable there, you don't have to jump down to the low C and try and be a martyr and a hero like I did. You could go and make a better decision and go to the middle C right there. So let's try that right there. So you get mi, mi, fa, sol, do. Okay? Let's try that altos and gentlemen. Here we go. And good. And I should say too, gentlemen, if that middle C is more comfortable for you than the low C for my tenors, that's probably the case, but that's cool. You get whichever one. Because remember, it's just a word search. We're just finding what the matching pitch is. It does not matter what the octave is in which it happens, okay? Very, very good. Let's try and put that together from the beginning. Here we go. 1, 2, Gabrielle.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love
Bring us in, Braxton. Very good. Hold there. Great. That's that. Okay, easy enough. Now, solo 3, that is Colette and Sienna, correct? Very, very good. So they're going to sing theirs, and we're going to add a third harmony. So if you look at the second from top line on the bass clef, you'll see F, D, G, C, F. So that's do, la, re, so, do. Okay? And then again, we can pick an octave. So as we're filling this out, as we're seeing how we're working together as a group, like we were doing in the warm-up, we can go, you know what? I don't think I hear enough of that low harmony. Why don't I pop that up into my octave? That's fine. We're gonna evaluate this together and see what the need is as we go on, okay? But my bass baritones, let's have you try that. And Braxton, we have you back at the beginning here, even though you'll come back in on the 2s. We can hear you on this harmony, so that's good because you're holding a lot of that down, okay? So let's try that F, D, G, C, F right there, and. Again, and. So ladies, that's what it sounds like in that octave if we feel like we need to add to that, okay? So raise your hand if you are planning on staying on the very first harmony we taught. Excellent. Raise your hand if you're planning on taking that middle harmony with the A's. Excellent. Great. And then what about that third harmony that we just learned? Fabulous. Excellent. Love that. That's a pretty good balance. I am good with that. Brian, I may move you if I find that F, D. Yep, if we don't feel like that balances out. Okay? Very, very good. Can we try that much from the beginning? I know.
Yes.
And thank you, Charlie, for singing too. If you want to cover that low one, I won't be sad about it.
Sure.
All right, here we go. Sit up nice and tall. Remember, breathe, energy, posture still prevails. I know that it's getting a little late, but you guys are troopers. Keep that energy going. You are the instrument. Here we go. 1, 2, Gabrielle.
On the first day of Christmas, my child gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
Braxton, breathe. Sienna Colette. Don't slow down. Solo 4, let's try it. Very good, hold there. Good. I want to add one more on 4. Can I have... It's okay. Well, that explains why I need more sound on 4. Brian, can you join them on 4?
Sure.
Thank you. All right, so we have the 3 of them on 4 and then 5. Good. Let's skip ahead briefly because we've learned all of the harmonies for the oohs. Now, something I want to point out, but I say this with a grain of salt, right? Do we think that the solo or the ooh is more important? The solo's more important, right? So I do need the oohs to back up a little without losing the integrity of the harmony. Does that make sense? So I do want you to pull back a little, but if that's going to sacrifice the harmony, I'm going to mostly kind of push the soloist to give a little bit more, and I do want that too. But make sure that we're not overpowering the soloist. We've got everybody at different levels, different ages. We're a very inclusive group, so we want to make sure that we are hearing everything all the time. Okay? Yes, Brian.
Sorry, question for the solos. After you sing your solo part, do you continue to
Yes,
sing
you
the
continue.
descending one? Okay.
Yep, so basically everybody joins you. For like at 4, you do, on the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. I just realized a really nice, fun music theory moment we can have here as well. Look at the second system last measure. There's a change in the time signature there. Do you guys notice that? So we move from being in 4/4 time to 3/4 time. What the heck does that mean? Who can tell me? Yes, Colette.
Well, the 4/4, that means that there are going to be 4 notes in a measure, but 3/4 means that there are going to be either 3 notes or 4 notes.
So not just notes, but beats. But yes, you are right. So 4 is going to be 4 beats in the measure. 3/4 will be 3 beats in a measure. Do you know how that feels different? So just without us even sort of understanding what that is, how does it feel different, Colette? Do you know?
Well, you'll have like different sort of breaks in 3 notes in a measure, and that might also mean that they want to end something or make a big point somewhere, but they need to have 3 notes in a measure in order to do that. Or 3
So
notes.
what you're saying is intuitively correct. Absolutely. So I want us to do a little experiment real quick. So everybody's going to stomp. Our sound engineers are going to hate us, but we're going to do it anyway. All right. So we're going to gently stomp. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and stop. Now I want you 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, go. 1. Don't rush. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. Good. Stop. Good. So in 4/4, there are 2 strong beats in that measure. There's the downbeat of the 1 and then the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas in 3/4, it's really just the 1. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And an easy way to understand that, 4/4 feels like marching. 3/4 feels like dancing. Okay? But if you're not aware that that's coming up, what you inevitably are going to try and do is slow down that 3/4 measure to make it into a 4/4 measure, which is what it was before. So you'll try and pull that out to kind of fit it into your mental structure that you have. Does that make sense? And that's kind of what I heard happen. So right there you got, on the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and up. Do you feel it? Do you feel it now that you're aware of it? So just think of that. Don't slow down those 2 bars of 3/4. That comes back and it's the way that they make the words fit into the structure. Okay? Good. I want to skip ahead briefly to 5 golden rings. So we are going to add some harmonies there as well. So Soprani, you are doing what everybody knows here. So you're going to go 5 golden rings. Okay? Super straightforward, super easy there. Notice your rhythm is a syncopated rhythm. You have an 8th note followed by a dotted quarter note. So it's not 5 golden rings. It's not that. It's 5 golden rings. That's important because everybody else is going to do quarter notes. So you will not be the same, and that is on purpose. Okay? So for my altos, you're just going to do 5 golden rings. Again, for my solfege nerds, it's do, 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 ti. Remember what I said about ti? Super high, so high, highest note you've ever sung. And then for my tenors, you're so, fi, fa. Those are whole steps or half steps, do you know? Half steps, which also feel so high. Just think that you're going up, don't even think that you're going down, okay? So, fi, fa, okay? And then my bass baritones, you're on mi, okay, so that's one too. So mi, re, re, super good times. But those are what we call the half steps, chromaticism that's showing up there, non-chord tones, okay? Not non-chord tones, tones that are outside of the key signature, okay? So let's try it just the altos and the sopranos first. Then we'll try the gentlemen separate. Then we'll put it all together, okay? So 5, 5. 1, 2, try it. 5 golden rings. Good. One more time. Lots of energy. And 5 golden rings. Good. Yep. And altos, I can take a little bit more there if you got it. Good. All right, gentlemen, just my low voices. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Do it one more time. I can take a little bit more on bass baritone. 1, 2, here we go. Nice. And we'll do a little bit of a fermata there. What does a fermata mean? Raise your hand. Sophia?
It means hold.
Yep, hold a little bit longer. So that's so vague, right? Such a music thing to do. Hold longer. But hold like 1.5 is basically the general rule of thumb. As a soloist, you can play with that, but about 1.5. So what that means is we have a whole note here, which is worth 4 beats. Half of 4 is 2. 2 plus 4 equals 6. You didn't know that you were going to get a math lesson, but there it is. So about 6 beats is what we'll do there. And then we'll come right back a tempo. Who knows what a tempo means? A tempo, yes, Braxton.
Turn back to original tempo.
Yep, exactly. So we're going to take right off into it, okay? Good. So that's how we'll come out of this. Do 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, and that relies heavily on my group 4 folks to move us out of that quickly, okay? Because Tutti goes away, you guys will reset us into the tempo, all right? I want to go from the beginning that far. Guys, you've gotten through the hard part already. This is really just it. We just add to this. We go into our funny different arrangements with the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we're done. But this is the structure. You guys are doing awesome. Here we go. Gabrielle, everybody make sure that you are nice and tall and breathing deeply and using your instrument efficiently. 1, 2, 3. Don't forget our harmonies. Keep going. on. And a partridge in a pear tree. We'll all come in there. We will not lose time. Any questions thus far? Yes, Ethan.
Okay, so after the 5 golden rings, are the people on solo 5 doing all of the rest of the people and just having them add on? Or
Yes.
are they individual?
Yeah, what did I want there? That's a great question, Ethan. Nope, right there it changes. Thank you so much for bringing that. Right there it changes. After 5 golden rings, we stop terracing. It's just individuals, and that stays true to the end of the piece. So after we all go, 5 golden rings, 4 goes, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. It's everybody. Got it? So as marked. Yes, thank you, Ethan. Thank you so much. Sophia, was that your question or a different one?
I have a different one.
All right, go for it.
Could I hear the the melody on the second motion?
Sure.
On the second ooze.
On the second ooze,
Yeah.
yes. All right, so on the...
Yep, and if that F feels too low, you could always take the A too. You could do ooh, right where you came from. That's still, again, it's the word search thing. It still fits into that F chord. Yes, Brian.
Sorry, we're doing all 3 of the harmonies from the very beginning, or they're coming in layered?
They're layered. Great question.
Okay, sorry.
So at the very beginning, we all come in unison on the first harmony. So we all go ooh. Second time where Braxton does his solo, we add ooh, either one of those. Third time, that's where we add the bass baritone part. And then after we've established those harmonies, those carry through to the end. Make sense? Fabulous. All right, let's go ahead and do that much again. Try not to lose tempo. We keep it rolling along, okay? Energy, excited. Would you guys like to stand up? Can we stand up? All right, let's stand up. Shake it out. Fabulous. All right, guys, here we go. Gabrielle, lead us in. 1, 2, go.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
Braxton. Stand up and let loud. Solo 4.
Day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Solo 5.
Day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden rings.
4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves,
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Great, guys. Really, really good. Great work. Go ahead and have a seat. Let's keep the energy up, though. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Because then we just have to get creative after this, because who's going to sing once? This is a lot of verses. There are 12 of them. So, number 6 is going to be any mothers in the room. People who have made tiny humans, you're going to sing number 6, okay? Number 7 is going to be girls under 25. Group 8, anyone who owns a cat. I was writing this at 8 in the morning. I had anyone who owns a cat. 9 will be girls with dark hair. 10 will be guys under 25. 11, did you just raise your hand? Absolutely.
My grades tell a different story.
11 will be anyone who plays an instrument. 12 will be anyone who loves 90s rock like me. And then that will take us through to the end. So let's just be crazy. Should we just try and land the ship? Let's go ahead and just try it, okay? Structure stays exactly the same. Keep the energy up. So starting at 6, these are women who have made little humans. Here we go. 1, 2, and on the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 16 so late, 5 golden rings. Thank you, Gabrielle. And
4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
7 girls under 25.
Day of Christmas, my true love gave to
These are the pop-outs, so it's not terraced like it is at the beginning. So that means, for instance, it should just be Brian, Chris, and Bert going, 4 calling birds, just Sienna and Colette going 3 French hens, just Braxton going 2 turtle doves, and everyone going, and a partridge in a pear tree. I just had to make it interesting. I couldn't make it easy. It's not my way. All right, let's pick up at number 8. Anyone who owns a cat on the 8th. 1, 2, and.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 8 maids of milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6
Everybody.
5 golden rings,
4 calling birds,
3 French hens, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Number 9.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids of milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a
Everybody.
5 golden rings,
4 calling birds,
3 French hens, and a partridge in a pear tree.
On 10.
Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 lords a leaping,
9 ladies dancing, 8 maids of milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese
Here
a
it is.
5 golden rings,
4 calling birds,
3 French hens, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Number 11.
On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 pipers piping,
10 lords a leaping,
9 ladies dancing, 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings,
4 calling birds,
3 French hens, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Last one, here we go.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 pipers drumming,
11 pipers piping,
10
lords a leaping,
9 ladies dancing, 8 maids of milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings,
4 calling birds,
3 French hens, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Yep. I trust y'all to fill in those harmonies there at the end. I don't think you need me to break that down, but all we've done with the soprano is walk up to the top F. My gentlemen, you're basically starting on do, re, mi, fa, so, fa, mi, so, do. In whatever respective octave makes you happy. Can you just play that one right there for me, Charlie?
Well, which one is that?
Right at and a partridge in a pear tree, just that bass line. So actually just the walking, so if you look at the bass
Oh,
line.
sorry. Or do you want to go in the
Yep.
other one?
Feel yourself. Sure. Whatever feels good to you. Make yourself happy. After you've made it through that far, I can't fault you for whatever you choose to do. Yes, Sophia.
Through all of the 12 through 6, are we oohing if we're not singing the 12 through 6?
Yes, so the ooh, yes. But then after that initial entrance, you don't do anything. It's just on the 8th day of Christmas, Mike. That's right. Ooh, whatever it is right there, okay? Good, does that make sense? We're going to play a game because playing games makes music making way more fun. So when you sing, you're going to stand up. So because it's cardio too, and we like to bring in physical wellness to our singing, okay? So if you are singing a solo, or by that I mean a group solo, whatever it might be, pop up like popcorn and then back down, okay?
And can I add one thing?
Yes.
It's not going to interfere with that. This song is a happy or sad song. Happy song. Someone is doting on you. Someone is giving you so many gifts. Too many gifts, one might argue. So, once again, the eyes tell a story. So, smile, really feel the emotion that you want to feel while you're getting these gifts.
When you have a moment that you are either in a small group or a solo, jump up with energy and purpose and have your moment. If you continue with the said small group, so for instance, here at the beginning, solos 3 will stay standing through partridge in a pear tree. Does that make sense? At those beginning parts. Thank you. So Colette just did a really good thing. Here's an extra Teresa pro tip, that free of charge. So she did something that we call receiving information. Stage managers love you if you do this. So when a stage manager says 10 minutes to places, you say, thank you, 10. That's how they know that you have recognized that they gave you information. So the more you can receive information, the more it makes whoever your director or stage manager go like, oh, I get that they get it. So that was beautiful, Colette. Thank you for being a wonderful example. Let's go ahead and go from the beginning. So there she is, our beautiful, wonderful Gabrielle. 1, 2, and.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear
Don't forget to ooh, y'all.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens,
2 turtle doves
and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling birds, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a
Brian and Christian, stay standing there. Go on.
Fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
Rings.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
Good. Hold there. Good. So you will stay standing because we terrace after it. So like Brian, for instance, for when you go 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, you'll stay. You won't sit back down.
Sing the descending ones as well? I thought you didn't want.
No, you do at the beginning, you don't at the end. So exactly as marked in the score. So you see
Got
how, yep, so if you just follow that, at the end, you are correct. After we've had the tutti and a partridge in a pear tree.
From like 6 through 12 don't, but before that, okay. So,
Well, yes, and actually 5 and on don't, but before that, so 4 and 5, yes. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay, cool. I know it's complicated. I told you guys, that's why I can't have you play zip zap zop and like point to the next person. There's enough for you to think about here. All right, we're going to do that exact same thing, and then we're going to go on all the way to the end. Okay, so popcorn through to the end, and then we'll go back and we'll perform this thing. Are we ready?
Yes,
Gabrielle, lead us off. 1, 2, and go.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a
Make sure we ooh and.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
on the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 4th day
marathon, y'all. It's a marathon. If you are going to look at me in only a couple of places, which I hope you'll look at me the whole time, but I know there's a lot to look at, I would like you to look at me for the cutoff every time at 5 golden rings. I'm trying to make that really, really big. Watch me so we can cut off together there. And then at the very end, partridge in a pear tree. So we're really, really clean and we get that nice little echoey sound, okay? All right, are we ready? No. Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. Have a stand. If you'd like to take just one step a little bit back, guys, to give yourself a little bit more space, feel free to do that. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. This is your chance to sing out, Louise. Ethel Merman, hone her in. All right, here we go. I want to really hear you go for it. There's a lot of solo moments. Y'all have masks on. It's kind of hard to hear you at times, okay? This is the reality of our COVID singing world, but that means you got to work just a little extra hard to make sure we hear you, okay? Whew. Think ahead. Think about your moment. Make it a big deal. Don't forget to ooh. Sometimes we're forgetting to ooh. Don't forget to ooh. Let's do this thing. Gabrielle, set us off.
Sorry.
1. It's a funny moment. All right. 1, 2, 3.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
The second day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 2 turtle doves
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Two turtle doves and a
have a seat. I've so appreciated being with you this evening. We're going to have so much fun doing this again in December, and thank you for Interactive Academy for being with us. This has been such a great time. Thank you, and have a great night, everybody.